Hello FlossTube. Today is Monday the 10th of November 2025 and this is FlossTube number 51. I'm Lindsay, Cheshire Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Mostly it's about cross stitch, but I do share other crafts. 9 times out of 10 that's going to be my beading, and I have got a little bit of that for you today. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer. It's lovely to see you again. And a very warm welcome if you are one of the 2 new subscribers I've had since my last video. If you are new here and you haven't done so already, I would very much appreciate it if you could like this video and any others of mine you may watch or may have watched, and maybe even hit that subscribe button. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm that I don't know how it works, but the more people like my video and view my videos, the more likely they are to say to some, you know, that bit that comes up down the side, the more likely they are to go, oh, you might like this person. So I'm slowly creeping up to 800. Would be nice to get there by Christmas. You never know. Right, admin bitty done. So today, my notes are down here in front of me. That's why I'm looking down as ever. So today I've got a SAF, which is a start and finish. I've got a new start. I've got some daily and temperature stitching. I've got PhDs, which, if you are new here, are potential happy dances. I don't refer to my projects as whips. They are potential happy dances because we all do a happy dance when we finish something, even if it's just a little yay. I've got my giveaway results from my last video. I'm going to tell you about the retreat that I've just been on, and I have some stash enhancement. So next video should be the 27th of November. Should have been the Monday the 24th, but that's my beading group day, and by the time I'm home from that, it's going to be far too dark outside to film, and I don't really want to put a light on. Much nicer with natural light. I can't do the Tuesday because my partner's off. Can't do the Wednesday because I swap the Monday that I normally have the boys, I swap for a Wednesday. So I've got the boys on the Wednesday. And then, so it's going to have to be the Thursday, which is the 27th. So we'll get going, shall we? So first, my start and finish. I mentioned it a couple of videos ago that I'd come across this in a bag, and I decided to start it. So there we go. This is Heinz Wordplay Cross Stitch. I started it last Monday and I finished it on Saturday at the retreat. So, and because I finished it at the retreat, I got a little prize, but I'll show you that later on when I tell you about the receipt. Take my teeth out, the retreat. So it's on 32 count vintage sand from Zweigart, and I used all the called for colours. There is a little charm on the chart that's supposed to go here. I'm undecided as to whether or not I'm going to add that. I'll decide when I come to finish it if I'm going to do that or not. But that's my start and finish. This was number 24 of my 25 in 25. So there we go. And my plan is to keep number 25 for my Christmas. I said before, I start something, not every year, but most years, I'll start something on Christmas Eve and do it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then till it's finished. So that'll be my number 25. New start. I was coming home from, sorry, I forgot to open it, Yorkshire Stitching, Stitch Laugh Learn Day. Sorry, it's just gone on the floor. last month, and there was some sheep in a field, and instead of saying, oh look, sheep, I went, oh, sheeps. Well, it stuck. So my lovely friend Lois, that I was taking on the retreat as well, and along with another friend Elaine, we decided we were going to have a new start, and it had to have sheeps in it, and they're always going to be referred to as sheeps now. So I started this. It's called Bar Humbug, and it's by You and I and Friends. I must have bought it off a D-stash. I have no idea when. I was looking through my box that I keep my little charts in, you know, the little square ones. Well, rectangular. That size. And this was tucked down the side of the box, so I thought, oh, right, okay, I'm going to do that. So I made a start on it on Friday. Didn't do very much, and haven't touched it again since because I had other things to get done. So that's as far as I got. The kit calls for anchor threads, which I have some but not massive amounts. So I did a DMC conversion, and then decided that actually I was going to do it in sulky. So, and I told a lie. The cross stitch was number 23. This is number 24. So that's as far as I got. I'm using Fox and Rabbit paper bark, 36 count. So like I say, I did my own conversions to sulky threads. And as I say, that's as far as I got. So I started the tree. And then because that border is all one colour apart from odd dots of red, I thought I'll get started on that green, get some of that border done. So my plan going forward will be to do some of the green on the outside, and then either the tree or start on the sheeps and do a bit more on the green. So that's the general plan for that. So that was my new start at the retreat on Friday evening. While we were at the retreat, Lois handed me bobbin. She's stitched bobbin. She's doing part of the Cheshire Cracker Sal. So she's done bobbin. So she's passed her on to me. Now, she's only little, so I will probably do this one next. I did say I was going to do Monroe, but Monroe's bigger. This one is only going to take a few days, probably. So we had a stall there, not a stall, a stand, a shop. So I picked up the weeks that I know I haven't got. So that'll be appearing at some point. Right, let's put that away. So we will move on to my daily stitches. There's only been a couple. So I went away, well, I actually left on Thursday, so there's only been a couple of daily stitches worked on. So the first one, 2021 Christmas Club number 2. I'm doing this one. I'm stitching them as models for sparklers. This one I started on the 3rd of September, and it was number 20 of my 25. And last time you saw it, it looked like this. Trying to not get too many reflections for you. So that was the last time you saw it. And now it looks like this. So basically I started on the snowman's body. It's growing slowly but surely. So that's that one. And the only other daily stitch that's had any attention, I'll remove those out of the way, has been my Current Love Quilt Square. And I realised last night when I went to bed that I didn't have a before picture for you. But it's a bit late now. So that's the current one. This is going to get a lot of attention over the next couple of weeks because it's due in on the 26th. So it's due in the day before my next video. So, but there's quite a lot of block stitches in it. So, and this is what it looks like now. I had it with me for the retreat and I worked on it a little bit in the hotel room. Not a huge amount, but like I say, I can't remember where you saw it last. I don't think I'd done this, which is the start of the front of the engine, and I don't think I'd done the tree, and I'd not certainly not done the blue. I think I'd done some of this green down here. Well, I'm not far off. If you look at the, show you the picture again. I'm not that far off both the bottom of the design and the top. So this obviously will be going with me this afternoon when I go to look after the boys. And we'll get some more progress on that. And that was it for daily stitches. Like I said, I've not really done much in the way of daily stitching. And even temperature stitching hasn't had massive amounts done on it. So let me see my picture. So the first one that came out is this one. This is Cotton and Twine from March 2023. I started it on the 11th of January 24, and this was number 3 in my 25 and 25. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm now working on it colour by colour. And that's what it looked like last time you saw it. So there's not huge amounts left to do. And here it is now. So basically I did the chicken, or the outline of the chicken, and the top of that flower there. The outline of the chicken is not far off 100 stitches on its own, so there we go. Well, that's that one. Don't you fall on the floor. Need to put things back in the bags. I'm not zipping them up though. The next project that came out, which hasn't actually put in an appearance for a couple of months, and it came out a couple of times in a row, is Nova. Started this 2004, I think it was. I've mentioned it before. One of the girls at the weekend retreat I go to every year in June with a group of friends. We've been doing it for 20 years, well, 19 years. Next year marks 20 years, and she gave us a challenge of finishing your oldest project or something that challenges you. Well, my oldest project is a TW, and I knew I couldn't get that done. So I'm working on Nova, which is my second oldest project. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. I say it came out twice at the beginning of the month. So that's what it was like. And now, and this is where I get to hide my ugly mug, it looks like this. So I did, let me look, what did I do? I did that one, and that one. I say it came out twice, so it's coming on. If it comes out, you know, another couple of times out, and I'll have finished another row on it. So there we go. Haven't got massive amounts of stitching to share with you today, so it may well be a little bit shorter than the last one, which is always a good thing. Next one that came out is this one, Warm Winter Woolens, that I started when I went on a retreat with some friends in September. We all said we were going to have a new start, and mine was this one. So I'm using all the called for colours. It's number 22 of 25. I'm stitching mine on 36 count Dust Bunny from Fox and Rabbit. Last time you saw it, it looked like that. So I've done, and it's only been out the once, so I just got a few more lines of brown added, which is the sheep's bum or butt, whichever way you look at it, derriere. So 20th September I started it. So there we go, that's that one. Now, I do have a bit of a plan for December. I'll still do, on the 27th of November, I'll still do my temperature draw, I think. Haven't fully decided. But I'm going to be doing Flossmas this year. Both of the advents that I'm going to use for Flossmas are going to arrive this afternoon when I'm not here. So, obviously I would have liked to have been able to show them you today, but a little impossible when you haven't actually got them. But I'll explain more in my next video. I can fill in all the details. So my next temperature stitch that came out was this one, Erin Elizabeth Stitchy Tia. Started it on the 17th of July. This is number 18 of my 25. It's on 30 count blue Murano and the called for DMCs. So you may remember I made a huge boob on this one. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. You can just still see the shadow of the bit I had to frog, because I'd put an extra sort of lacy bit on the shelf and then worked the scissors off that, and it was in the wrong place. So that was last time you saw it. And now it looks like this. So pretty much I filled the hoop in, finished the white, filled in the flower, which is one of the main reasons it drew me, because it looks like a sunflower. And then I've started to finish working on the outside of the hoop. So I think next time it comes up, I'm going to finish the hoop, and after that I'm not sure, but I would like to start getting those scissors filled in, redone. There's still a couple of little bits to go in this jar here, but I think if I get that finished, get the scissors done and get that done, that top half is then complete. Now there is a stitch along for Tears. I can never remember the name. I think it's 3 Cheers for Tears, Sal, and it's organised by Lauren and Kayla from Stitching with My Little. But I'll put a I'll link it below. So my next daily one that came out, this one. I must have put it the right way up. Morning Coffee by Stitch Rovia. I started this on the 10th of April. This is number 8 of my 25. It's on 32 count clotted cream, and I'm using the call for DMCs. So last time, oops, I nudged the frame with no wrong. Last time I saw it, last time you saw it, it looked like this. It's only come out the once. So now, it looks like this. So basically I finished off the bottom, move that out of the way. I finished off the bottom of Morning, and then I've made a start on the top, which unfortunately is pink. I don't do pink. So there we go. It was really nice to work on this one again because it hasn't been out very often. So there's that one. Next up, oh, it's there. I knew I'd got the picture out. Is this one. ABC de la Broiderous from Jardin Privé, affectionately known as Adabut. And find my right picture. This was my focus piece for October. And I got a bit done. March is complete. I was supposed to do about 3 inches a month to get it finished by the end of the year. That's not going to happen. This is going to be a carryover into 26. I know that. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. I think where before, no, forget that. I'm talking gibberish. Oh, I remember, yeah. I'd said I had that flower stalk there to finish, and then March was complete. I was thinking about the thread that's coming out the needle, and I was wrong. It was the flower stalks I had left to do to finish off March's one. So that was last time you saw it. This is something like number 2 of my 25 in 25. It's on a 36 count white. Is he? And now it looks like this. So I did those, the flower stalk, I finished the butterfly, I've added the tree, I've added the watering can, and I've got to do a little bit of fudging because I oopsied. The tree is one too short. So this should be one lower down, this should be one lower down, so there's just going to be a slightly bigger gap somewhere. There's going to be a gap of 3 instead of 2, or 2 instead of 1. Doesn't affect the overall design. It's just a pain in the derriere to remember to fix it. And that is the end of the temperature stitching. Being away on retreat, I didn't take temperature stitching with me. I didn't take daily stitching with me. Well, I took peacock cipher with me, but I never worked on it. So, next project is my mad idea, which is dead cool. Bought this at the same time I bought Baby Groot for me, and then had the mad idea to get this finished for my partner's 50th birthday, which is on the 1st of October. So I worked out from the 1st of November I would need to do around about 5,000 stitches a month on it to get it done in time, which is doable because my average stitch count for a month is somewhere in the region of 9,000 to 10,000. Well, at this time of year it could be closer to 11, so don't go out as much. But anyway, so it's Deadpool. Last time you saw him, he looked like that. I took a picture of him because I needed to post it somewhere, and I thought, well, that's not going to tell you where it is. So that was last time you saw him. And now, between my partner being off and me being on retreat, it's not as had much as attention as it should have done, but now he looks like this. So I have done a fair bit on him over the weekend, not as much as I would have liked, but it still had attention. It still had the required amount of stitching per day. Now, on my last video, I had a question about making sure I'd got it the right way around, because I held it up like this to show you just how big the fabric is. Well, he's taller than he is wide, so yes, I have got the fabric the right way round. I should have made it clear that he is taller than he is wide. So there we go. I never thought to check Pattern Keeper for the stitches and the percentage. I do apologise. I should have done that. But there he is now. So I'm going to, once I've finished recording, it's 11:15. I may not get time to do anything on him today, which is a shame, but never mind. There he is now. And I am sorry I didn't check. I meant to. I don't know. So, next PhD is one of my Strictly Whip Goes. I'm still behind. Did I note that down? This one. Quaker flag. Or Quaker Tiles UK Union flag from Vivsters on Etsy. I started it last year for part of a stitch along, and it got put down, as everything does with me. So my goal for Strictly Whip Goes is to do 500 stitches. Last time you saw it, it looked like this. No, it didn't. That's not the right picture. I do apologise. That's the wrong picture. Have I got the right picture? bear with me. That one. Is it that one? I think that's the right picture. There we go. So I do apologise. Oh, for goodness sake. That was last time you saw it, which was according to the picture in September. So now it looks like this. My fabric is 40 count Bluetiful from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. And I think I did just over 500 stitches. So currently, this is one of those ones I remember to write it down on a card, put it in the bag, so I don't have to check. So I am at 7,770 stitches of 48,335, which is 16.08%. It's still got another couple of times to come out for Strictly Whip Go. So there we go, that's that one. I'm using sulkies for that one. Yeah, I did a sulky conversion. I do apologise, I should have got the numbers. Well, I can tell you the numbers. So for the 762 that's called for, I'm using 1071, which is like a creamy colour. 817, I'm using 1035, which is the red. 930, I'm using 1283, which is the dark one around each. No, it's not. It's the blue. And then the dark one is 939, so now I'm using 1197, which is the ones around the edges. So, as I say, it was started as a stitch along on Instagram last year, organised by Gail of Wombat Hollow Crafts and Nicole of Darvanelli Designs Studio. But I'll link them down below for you. I'll get that put away. As I say, he's got another couple of times to come out yet. And then the last one of my PhDs is one I did over the weekend. Where's my picture? It's also for Strictly Whip Go. And I still haven't got round to printing out a picture. I meant to do that this morning, but didn't get a chance. This is Dasher and Dancer Hobby House Press. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. And I'd added 495 pounds stitches the first time it came out for Strictly Whip Go. Well, it came out again, not this week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm a little bit behind on them. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. And then over the weekend, I got done. There we go. I did 529 stitches on this. So out of 21,198, I am at 2,024, which is 9.55%. By the time I stopped working on it, it was like midnight on Saturday. So I didn't quite get this done. So what I've done is I finished this motif off here. And because I still had some on my needle, I came down and did this one, or made a start on this one. I've done the basket here, and then I've done the bird. As I say, there's a little bit left to go on the bird, but this has only got one more call. So, because each project is down 3 times, and it's come out twice now. So I started it on the 1st of July with my lovely friend Sue as a stitch along for Christmas in July. I'm doing, mine's 36 count fabric of the month from Sparklies for March and April, and I'm using Sulky 1035 for mine. So there we go, that is the end of the stitching. So I'll just quickly show you my little bit of beading. Now I have had a finish for beading, but I can't show it to you because it's an ornament for one of my girls. But I'm doing a bead along with my lovely friend Gina. Now I've known Gina. Gina was one of the first people I ran across when we first of all got the internet in 1999. So 26 years I've known Gina. So I'm doing a bead along with her and with Lynn, the Lancashire stitcher, and we're doing this. This is the dragon from Thread a Bead. Lynn is going to be doing the purple one. Gina's doing the original green one. I'm doing rainbow. I just looked to see what I had enough of in my stash, and it turned out I had enough to do rainbow. I will be doing more. We started it 1st of November, and I was alternating working on this and my Christmas ornament for one of my girls. So I've only just finished his head today. He spent, until I finished the back of his head, he looked like a bit like a ghost. So that's as far as I've gotten, and then I've made a start this morning on his body. So I will do another couple of days on this, and then I will start the next of the ornaments for my girls. So there we go. That's as, like I say, that's as far as I've gotten with him. Not very far, but he won't take long. He'll grow quite quickly. So now we'll go on to the retreat. So let me check. I've done that. No, we won't. We'll do the giveaway. Now, the giveaway was to celebrate my 50th floss tube, my half century, and I had 4 items to give away, and only 3 people have entered for 1 item. So what was this one? 3 people. But having said that, the views were quite low for it as well, so I don't know what's going on. But this was the only one that was entered for. So the other 3 items, which were a Joan Elliott fairy, a little rose, a little kit to make a sachet bag for a rose, and a Celtic knot. Nobody entered for those. There was only this one that entered, and as I say, there was only 3 people that entered. So I've done the draw just before I started to record this morning, and the winner is Yorkshire Stitcher. Now, I'd been chatting with her at Rastrick, which is the Stitch Laugh Learn Day for the Yorkshire Stitchers, last month. So it's just the way it's turned out. And unfortunately, I can't say to you I'll bring it on Saturday because I won't be there. So if you could drop me an email in the box below, and with your address, I can get it in the post to you. hopefully in the next day or two. So, yeah, there we go. That's that done. I'm not going because I've got my grandsons for the day. And speaking of my grandsons, the younger one is, touch wood, second time lucky, is going to have his tonsils removed on Wednesday. The first one was cancelled because they had problems with the sterilising unit in the hospital. So, and my doing Saturday was already arranged because Mum and Dad are going out for the day. So I will be with them all day. So, wish him well. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's 4. Little ones like that bounce back by quite quickly. There we go. So, right, retreat. So I went up to, oh, sorry, something's fell on the floor. Hollins Hall Hotel at Bradford. And I've just realised a picture I wanted to show you I haven't got. It's on my phone, and my phone is over there on the beading table. Never mind. So we got there. I got there Thursday night. Stayed Thursday night. Retreat started 10 AM Friday morning. Excuse me, I'm undoing some Velcro. We gets in, we picks our places, and each seat, pardon me, each place at a table had one that had this sitting on it, which, if you've been watching for a while, you might remember I did the class for one of these. It's a little tray to keep all your bits and pieces in. In said tray, we have a needle aspirator, which I still haven't quite worked out what it is and what I'm supposed to do with it. But it's pink, so I'm likely to use it anyway. And everybody had a mascara wand. Now, mine was a red one. And I didn't think anything of that. I just thought, oh, red, I like red. I'm glad it's not pink. Well, as it turns out, there was one red one on each table, and you got a door prize. So I won a door prize. Mine was this one. Well, technically it wasn't this one. I actually won a different one, but Caroline was on my table, and I'm like, it's beautiful, but it's not my taste. Can I be really cheeky and swap it? So she allowed me to swap it. I will be putting a link down to her below. If you go and take a look, the one I actually won was the Joyous Noel, so it's it's got a wreath on it, but it's not my taste. As beautiful it is, not my taste. Let's say she very kindly allowed me to swap it for this one, which is so much more me. There's a few other bits and pieces to do with Caroline, but we will get to them. So, yeah, that was my door prize. And then Saturday, as I said, I had a finish, and there was quite a few of us that had a finish. So we all got a lovely little bag. It had tissue paper sticking out the top. And mine was this. Lovely Joy to the World buttons and beads. So I think I'm going to have to invest in one of those little, you know, the wooden frames for Mill Hills, because I've now got 2 this size, and the jumper is also done on perforated paper, and I have got other assorted ones floating around. So yeah, that. I think I'm missing an item of D-stash, but never mind. So that was the retreat in general. We did, sorry, I keep dropping stuff on the floor. We did a fat quarter exchange on the Friday afternoon, and this is the piece that I ended up with. It's a 40 count linen from Coffee Craft Fabrics. Now, I've never stitched on a Coffee Craft. I've mentioned that before. I've got one piece of a blue one upstairs in my stash. And there we go. It's the kind of, it's not really my colours, but I can see things that could go on it. But I would be far more likely to have one on that half and then one on that half. So I will look forward to putting something on that at some point in the future. Saturday morning, these were sitting on our tables. I don't like Lindor, but my partner does. So I left it intact. He has seen it, and he's been told you can't have it until I've shown it, so we can eat it tonight now. There was some de-stash, so de-stash. I was very lucky. I picked up this. Now I already have a copy of this, and this one is a little bit uncared for, I would say. It also came with the starts of the Guardian. She's done sort of this bit here, and all the threads. You'll have seen me hold this book up before, because I have Mermaid as a PhD, but we also have Storyteller, Trade Winds, some of the names have escaped me, bear with. I mean, that's Celestial Dragon. I think that might be Storyteller. Just bear with me and I'll have a look. Oh, come on, where's the contents? No, not got contents page. So yeah, so it's got Celestial Dragon, the Guardian, which is the one that had been started. Now I happen to know Caroline from Caroline's Corner, Caroline with a K, is working on that one. We have the Storyteller. I'm not sure if I've started that or not. My ex-husband actually has a signed print of this for off TW, Teresa Wensler. He won it in a competition. Very jealous. Come on. Then we have the Enchanter, which I also have as a PhD. Fantasy Triptych, that's the one I couldn't remember. Fantasy Triptych. Triptych, whichever way you want to say it. And then you've got two sets of petites. So this is Castle Ridge and Above the Clouds. And then you've got Gentle Creature and Peacock Majesty. Trade Winds. I have all of these patterns. Some of these I will never stitch, like Trade Winds and Mermaid, which, as you know, I've got as a PhD. So I got that off the de-stash. I do have a thought about it, but it can wait. Also off the same lady, I bought this. My first thought was, I'll get that because Jeanette will like that. She's very much into Halloween. So You will end up with it eventually, Jeanette, but first I will be stitching that. As I say, I grabbed it thinking, oh yeah, Jeanette will love that, which is very much into Halloween. I don't do Halloween, as you know. So I thought, oh yes, I can do that. They've got it for a Vera Soir, but I won't be doing it in Vera Soir. I'll be doing it in DMC. I like a sampler like this. I like samplers, but I prefer marking samplers as opposed to ones with big houses. It has to really talk to me to be a big house one. We did the white elephant on Saturday. Couldn't do that. And I ended up with this. Drawn thread, little bits of Christmas with all the silks and the beads. I was quite happy about that because the other 2 times I've done it, I have ended up with something completely and utterly rubbish, and then mine was stolen. So I'm quite happy that I won this one. Very happy with this. Which way round I'll do it or anything like that, I have no idea as yet. It's not going to be started this year. So there we go. Looking forward to that. Lynn, Lancashire Stitch, has done that, and it was seeing hers that made me want to do it. I also picked up off the D-Stash. I got that. I just thought he was cute. So I got him. And I've got the chart and that. It doesn't come in the bag, but I've got the chart and the instructions and everything. He's not going to take long to do. He was off the D-Stash. This is all going to be... I've not put everything down in the way I wanted to, so it's all a bit mixed up. And I also picked up that. I've got loads of charms. Loads and loads of charms. And it's beading. And as you know, as you've already seen, I bead. So I picked up that. Now, when we did the white elephant, table mates ended up with things that they aren't going to use. So Caroline from Haystack Stitching won this and a kit. She says she's never going to use the hoop, so she passed it on to me. So a nice big Nurge hoop. Her mum was also there, and she won this Jurassic Perk with all the threads. Well, she's kept the threads, and she passed me on the chart. Because this has always been one of those ones that I like that. If I ever come across it on a D-Stash for a few quid, I'd buy it. I don't want to pay full price for it. I know that sounds mean, but I don't love it enough to want to pay £10, £11 for a chart. If I can buy it a bit cheaper, that's fine. And I forgot to mention, this one, this has always been on my I'm going to buy that at some point list. So I don't have to, I can cross that off now. And as I say, that can come off the if you can find it at a good price, buy it list. And I was also given this. Now, I cannot remember who gave me this or why they gave me this. I think it might have been Leslie that was sat next to me who took part in these things, even though she was a crocheter and not a knitter. So I think she might have won that, but I could be wrong. Poor Leslie. 4 times, maybe 5, whatever she got was stolen. Because the way elephant works is the first person goes up and picks something, they open it. The second person comes along and they can either pick a present, which they're all wrapped up. They can either pick something or they can steal. So most of us not all of them, but quite a lot of things are stolen. Well, mine came out quite early, and mine was stolen. It was a project bag within a smaller project bag and a couple of threads, and it was lovely, but it was stolen. And when it was stolen, so whoever, I can't remember who it was, but she went and picked the parcel, brought it over to me, and I had to open that parcel, and that's how I ended up with that. So, but yeah, I can't remember. I think it might have been Leslie. I've slept since then. I didn't write it down. I do apologise, but I have a lovely piece of 18 by 27 even weave, 32 count, midnight from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. And as you know, I've used those quite a few times. Right. While I'm thinking about it, I forgot to show you this. The last 2 floss tubes. I bought this off a D-stash a good month or so ago now, off Stitchy Sally. She was having a bit of a clear out. This was the only one she had left. But this is one of the ones I don't have. So I picked that up. Did tell you it might be a bit disjointed. When I arrived, well, not when I arrived, when we got there and we got in the room on Friday morning, my lovely friend Lois gave me this. This is the thread pack for Stacey Nash's Ginger, which is one of her classes at the Jingle Ball. It's an animal cracker. So I was going to be looking for the threads, but Lois has given them to me. So there we go. So she will be started. She won't be a 25 and 25 or anything like that, but she will get started quite soon, because then I can do the class. And then I bought, I was waiting for Peakside to get the fabric in, because Lois bought those from Peakside, because she's been getting in pieces for various of the classes, and I was waiting for her to get the Black Bee Primitives fabric in, and it hadn't arrived. So I went looking fabrics from Crafty Kate, and I found this one. So this is, it doesn't have a name, it says custom, so maybe somebody's ordered it, or somebody ordered that colour and she dyed extra. I don't know, it just says custom. So those are my colours. After much discussion with Kate, and I think it was Tracy, happened to be stood there at the time, we decided that this was the best fabric. Now, the only colour that might cause an issue is this one, which is Sanguine. We did a pulled out a single strand. Now, see what I mean? Single strand on a floss toss, it's quite close. But apart from 5 stitches for her nose, that is always surrounded, so I can get away with that. If I need to, I can either pick the darker bits of Sanguine, or I can have a look. I'm sure there'll be something that's ever so slightly darker that I can use in place of it for 5 stitches. So there we go. On to the stash buy-in. Italia Frames was there, so I grabbed a frame. There was all sorts, all shapes, all sizes, all colours, but I quite like this, so I got myself a little frame. There was a lady called Jackie there who does bags and grime guards, and she had scissor fobs. And I bought myself a mug, topography mug. She had other ones that were stitching related, but they didn't appeal quite so much as this one, so I got myself that. It's just the same on both sides, so now I can use it. And the other thing that she had were these little tins. That was Nova falling over, so I had these little tins. She had a various colours, but I like purple, so I got the purple ones. Little teeny tiny snips, they are so cute. I haven't tried to cut with them as yet. I wanted to show them to you. I fell in love with them. I thought, oh no, I've got to have some of them. So I got that. If I ever use them, I do not know. But it's a pair of scissors and I'm a stitcher and we like to collect these things. Then most of my money went with Caroline from Haystack Stitchings. She gave everybody one of these. Has a little design on the back, and she said the code that is on this is still valid. Now, I checked with her and it is okay for you. I will put it in the box down below, but there is a code there for free shipping. She says ignore the date, it's still active. She had thousands of them printed, but the free shipping is only for the UK. I told her that I would mention it, and I would say that it is only for the UK, and I have her blessing to tell you about the free shipping. She has some beautiful designs. This is the other seller that I bought stuff off. Mary from Unravelled was there. So I'd gone with a list of threads I needed for other projects, and then I went back and bought the ones that I knew I was missing for bobbing. Sorry, I should have waited to tell you about Haystack. I forgot this bag. Tell you if I had a brain, it'd be dangerous. So I've got those. So we have Pelican Grey. We have Red Pear. Twilight. Some of these are the ones that I needed for Miss Hazel or Monroe and couldn't get from Create Nostalgia when I went. Putty. Cattail. Garrison Grey. And Brightleaf. As I say, some of those are for Miss Hazel, some of them are for bobbing. She had, as ever, pieces of fabric. So this is 35 count weeks dye works linen in mocha. They're only small pieces, and I like small pieces of fabric because it means I don't have to feel bad about chopping off from a big piece. This is R&R something cappuccino, can't quite read that. 30 count. I like R&R fabrics, but we can't get them very easily. Then we have another R&R, which I can't quite read the blend of. Count of, I mean. And this is Corty's Special Blend. And yes, I know there's a piece cut out of it. That's why it was the price it was. So, I should put my board up really, shouldn't I? You can't see them better. So that's the Corty's Special Blend. Let me just re-show you these ones with the board. Show you a better colour. There we go. And then that's the iced cappuccino. I think it's iced. I still can't tell. But that's the cappuccino. And then the last piece I bought off her is another R&R, 32 count. And this is Daily Grind. There we go. Right. Back to Haystack Stitching. Who had most of my money. And she had a big, well, not a big, but a basket full of fabrics. Now I don't need fabric, but she has a set of 4 seasons, and she'd done each one of the 4 seasons on a XG Designs fabric, and she'd cut up the XG Designs. I don't know, no, the colours aren't listed. These are all 12 by 9 and they're 32 count. Now I've never had XG Designs, and it was the only one she had, so I grabbed it so that I can stitch on XG Designs. So I don't know what these colours are called, I'm afraid. Not even sure what season each one goes for. But again, you see, they're not a massive piece, and if I like it, great. If I don't like it, I mean, apart from perming, I've never met a fabric I don't like. There we go. And then the last one, this is the most mottled of them, is that one. Like I say, they were bought, or she stocked them for the 4 seasons, and I'm like, well, I'm having them. I know I'm not buying the seasons, but I'm still having them. And I got Stephanie's pin drum. I liked it. I don't know, it talked to me, and I like the little scissor fob. So I got that one. Oh, she had the original of this with her and her one that she's stitching up. Called Anonymous because there's no name or anything on it. It's a Bristol sampler. It looked absolutely stunning on the fabric she was doing it on. And I'm just like, I fell in love with that, so I had to have that. She had some perforated paper. I haven't got any perforated paper in. So this is a 14 count, so just grabbed a piece of that. And with giraffes, what can I say? You get both charts in the pack. So you've got Stand Tall and Be Strong, and that one's Dare to Be Different. And she had the models of them with her. Beautiful, beautiful designs. So, and then my last one, and I'll open this one up and show you. Penguins, Christmas jumper. Now, she very kindly gave me this. I'd been sitting there looking at it going, I think I'm going to have to buy that. I think I'm going to have to buy that. She kindly gave me this. There is a reason behind it, but, you know, you don't particularly need to know that. So, when you open her kits, they come lovely, beautifully wrapped on the inside. So, I've got a little card with my threads on, which also has the free shipping information on, and a very nice little chart on the back. Basically, it's a pot of flowers with a little border Very pretty. And then, let me try and hold it up. You get a piece of ribbon. I've got, because obviously my jumper's pale blue, we have a full skein of 823, so it must use a fair bit. Your little accessory pack, which has the beads you'll need and your coat hanger. Piece of perforated paper. This is an 18 count one. Piece of felt for the backing. And then obviously your chart and instructions. The chart is lovely and big and clear. You've got your thread key. Some colours, some kits may have a slightly different blue or a slightly different white. So, you know, you might have white blank or you might have B5200, depending on supplies at the times the kits were put together. It lists all your embellishments, tells you where to start or what you need to do if you don't want to start in the top corner, your nice lovely clear chart, and your finishing instructions. Really, really good, lovely little kits. And if I hadn't been saving one of my last 25, I'd have been starting one of these for Christmas. And that is it. We are done. I've got just about enough time to have a cup of coffee before I go. And I started earlier today. So that is that. I will, as I said, I will put the code that Caroline has very kindly said I can do. You may have run across her. If you went to the Big Stitch, you will have run across Caroline. She was one of the organisers for the Big Stitch. And she's also been at Ali Pally for a couple of years. So you may well have run across her. She's lovely. She's really, really kind and generous. And her mum was a hoot. So yeah, so that was the contents of that. Highly recommend. I'll see if I can get either this one or my door prize one started for next time, so I can tell you how I'm getting on with stitching it and what it's like to work on it and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm all done. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed to the end, well done. I was hoping I could do this in under an hour, and we're just coming up to an hour and 13 minutes. So I am going to love you and leave you. I'm going to go and put the kettle on and make a cup of coffee so that by the time I've tidied all of this up, all over the floor, it's there, it's on the sofa beside me. It'll be ready to drink, and then it'll be time for me to go and look after the boys for this afternoon. So I will see you 27th of November. Until then, take care of yourselves and happy stitching. Bye.